Hey everybody, welcome back to part 2, I guess, if we're keeping track of numbers. We just finished showing you how to log into Schoology, what the main page overview looked like, and then got a little bit into class pages and assignments. I got to assignments, making an assignment, by clicking Add Materials and saying Add Assignment. Now let's talk about Add Test Quiz. This is not, add the idea of a test, here's the date your test is happening. This is an actual test through Schoology that you would assign and would get graded on Schoology, that either you could have it graded automatically if you make it all multiple choice, or you grade written answers, but either way the test is self-contained in Schoology. If you are looking for a placeholder in Schoology to remind your kids about a test, I would suggest using Add Assignment instead, and then just call the assignment test number whatever on Monday or something like that, and then set the due date on the day that that test is going to be. That's how I work it for my classes. I mostly Judaic studies, so I don't often have an opportunity to conduct a test through Schoology. But let's say we were going to do that. Let's say we go to Add Test or Quiz. I'm not going to spend an incredible amount of time going through this because it'll really make a very, very large screencast, but I do want to give you the basic overview. It looks about the same as that assignment window did at first. You give it a name, test number 1. You give it a due date, give it tomorrow again. Let's leave it at 11:59 p.m. and put it in a category, and like we said, we're going to call it a test, okay? Again, we have this little triangle here because the school year hasn't started. That's not going to show up for you once the school year starts. And good. You can give a description here, and then you say create. Once you created this test, you come to this screen. This is where you can add questions. You can add true, false, multiple choice, ordering, short answer, essay questions, fill in the blank, matching. You can do you can make question banks. You can import a test that you've already made and then sort of modify it for a different class or a different year. You can make a page break or add some text to give some descriptions. These are all things that you can go through yourself just to show yourself how that works. But I'll just put in a true-false question and say, did Han shoot first? Okay, then you could say text for true. Sometimes, you're making a binary question, so you say yes or no. Correct answer would be, let's say Han did not shoot first. He never shot first, right? Of course, Greedo shot first. And then you give it the point value, and you say create question. So now it's there. So if your test was done and you submitted it for the kids to take it, that would be the only question on there. But what's great about these Schoology tests is that if you make multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, things that are easy to grade for a computer, then you don't have to do any grading. So if your class lends itself to that, or a certain unit or test lends itself to that, you should totally take advantage of this. You have to put a lot of legwork in at the beginning, but you can save your test to a bank. If you look up here at any point in your test, you can say save to resources. And again, we're going to get to resources in a different screencast, but you would then have that test at your disposal further on. Of course, you have the option to print a test too. If a kid absolutely can't take it on the computer, you can copy it to another course, because sometimes you teach multiple sections of the same class. And those are all options available to you from this main test page. In the settings, you will see lots of different things that you can go through. However, the most important thing that I want to focus on with you, I'm not going to go through all these different things except for submissions. Right now, your test is disabled as it is anytime you create a test. You can select enable. You can select enable until a certain date and time, from a date and time, or if it were enabled, you could then go in and disable it again. So right now it's disabled. Once you enable a test, you would then it would then be visible to the students. However, you do have to save your changes, and then over here it would say submissions enabled. You can preview your test over here. You can view results over here, comments over here. If we go back to the home page, back to our class page, we'll see that here is test number 1. And you can choose here to unpublish it, so it doesn't even show up. So there are now two places, and that's a very big difference between tests and assignments. There are now two places where you can publish and unpublish a test. You can do it right here where it's unpublished to the view of the students, but you can also publish the test, say that it's available for them to view, and then go into the test itself and under settings, disable submissions. So in that case, you would have a kid able to view that he has a test to click on, but then they'll get a message that says, this test is not available for taking right now. That's because you click disable here. So you can set it for yourself to enable from a certain time, like when your class meets, or you can wait till everybody's sitting down in the room, go into the settings of the test, click enable, then tell them to like reload the page. Those are all options that are available to you. And that basically covers everything that you need to know about tests. Everything important anyway. You can feel free to poke around inside the settings and making tests and doing things. And if you learn anything cool, you can obviously share with me. Before we end this screencast, however, I just want to make sure that we covered the other popular thing in this list, which is add file link or external tool and add discussion. These are, these top four are really what you're going to be using more often. So if you click on add file link or external tool, it's pretty much exactly what it says. It would make it so that you click on file, you can upload something from your desktop, and then it would just, out from your computer, and then it would just be in the main page on Schoology. You can put a link there and then you could give it a description and say, hey, here's the link, and click here for further reading on astrophysics or something. And the external tool, again, you're going to ignore that. But that is how that works. And add materials, you have add discussion. This is where you open up the floor for other students to say things that they want to say. I'm not going to make anything big here. Just going to do this. Forget, sometimes you don't want to have a grade there, so that's why it's unchecked here. And, make it our due date and blah, 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 create it. And then you'll see that in the discussion, kids can go in there and write comments. So you could see it from my end as well. I can write a comment myself, but that is something that is available for you to use as well. So now we're going to end this screencast here because we have covered what your main class page add materials thing will, does for you. And we're going to pick up the rest, the next screencast talking about other areas of Schoology.